All righty. Good night, everybody. Hello. We are so excited to be on tonight. It is Friday night and it's Financial Freedom Friday here with Crystal Oliver, your new favorite financial coach. And I'm so excited to have my friend Angela on with me tonight. Hey, Angela.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited as well.
Thank you for joining me tonight. And this is the Budget Me Black Summer Series. And so if everybody's been watching, if you have watched even one, I hope that it has blessed your life. And don't forget, if this is good for you, if this is good information, don't forget to like and share. Yeah, tell a friend to tell a friend so that as many people as possible can get this information. So tonight our topic is how I pay my house off early. So Angela has done something that most of us wish we could do at her age. And so we're going to talk a little bit tonight about how she paid her house off early. So I'm going to jump right in to the question. So Angela, what in the world possessed you to pay your house off early?
You know what? That is such an interesting question. Let me take you from the beginning just a little bit so you can understand the story. Okay. So a couple of years ago, maybe around 5 or let's just say 7 years for the sake of me not remembering if it was 5 or 7 years. So 7 years ago, I embarked on a journey of jumping. I think Brandis talked about cliff jumping. And so I decided 7 years ago to cliff jump. And this is where I started Girls of Leadership and I began to have summer camps and I literally jumped on my own. And it was a great success at that time. But if anyone knows anything about entrepreneurship, you know that this is a journey where you got to be in it for the long haul. So fast forward, 5 years later, I ended up taking a full-time job, which was great. And in the meantime, I had a lot of debt. Okay. You're an entrepreneur, you have debt, you invest. So I had a lot of debt. And so what I first had to do was get employed with someone that will allow me to gain full-time employment and a consistent paycheck. And so I began to talk about the things that I wanted to do financially. And one of those major things was I wanted to be debt-free. So I had to start small. And what I began to do was I began to pay off all of my credit cards, all of my medical bills, and all of the things that were going to prohibit me from becoming debt free. So that took a journey. I didn't even think about paying my house off until last year, 2020. And so as I began to be employed with my current employer, I said, okay, I'm going to live off what I was living off of, which is thousands of dollars less than what I was actually making. So that's just to give you just an example. If my paycheck was $900, I was going to pretend to only bring home $700, and the rest I will save for getting out of debt. And so fast forward, I was able to pay all of my debt off. And I said, you know what? Why not pay my mortgage off? So literally it took me technically, once I decided to do that, it took me 12 months to pay my mortgage off. And that's because, yes, that is because I was consistent in every dime that I had, I saved it. So I wanted to pay my mortgage off because I wanted to be totally debt free. So I hope that answered your question.
Yes, it answered my question. So 12 months.
Well, once I decided, but there's a journey with that. And so before I decided to pay my mortgage off, so COVID happened, right? 2020. 2019, I saved $20,000. And this is after the fact that I became debt free. I just saved it. I started to put everything that I had into savings. I did not at this time invest. I just said, I'm just going to save. I don't have any debt but my mortgage. So I started to save. And then when COVID hit, I was like, well, you know what? I might as well. So I took what I had in my savings and then I saved an additional $25,000 and I paid my mortgage off.
Wow, that's so huge, Angela. I remember you telling me, like, Crystal, by next December my mortgage is gonna be paid off. I'm like, girl, what? So So what are the so I know I'm not the only friend that you told that to. So what are some of the craziest comments that you have received in regard to actually paying your mortgage off?
You know, Crystal, that's a good question. And to be honest, you, my mom, and another mutual friend that we have were the only individuals that I told. And let me tell you why.
Okay.
Anytime that you embark on something like this, you have to make sure that you have the right people in your circle. And it's not because you know, people that are also in your circle are not going to be positive, they're not going to be cheering you on. But when you're embarking on debt freedom, you get tempted. You get tempted. So that means you want to go on vacation, you want to do the shopping spree, you want to buy a new car, you want to do the things that everybody else is doing. But when you have a close-knit circle of people that know what you're trying to do, you're not easily distracted. But here are some of the things that I've read about paying your mortgage off early. I read that, you know, you get bored and you start spending money that you don't have when you become debt free. You don't invest as much as you should. You stop saving. You stop having financial goals. Those are some of the main things that I've heard. But I haven't personally experienced any negativity from individuals when I mentioned that I was going to pay my house off early.
Yeah, because I mean, for me, it was a celebration. I'm like, girl, look, I'm happy somebody's doing it right. So I'm like, okay. And so I believe in being debt free. And I believe that, once you are debt free, you feel like you can be generous. You feel like, you want to be able to save, but it takes a lot of stress and pressure off. And so one of the topics that Derek and I talk about a lot is freedom and flexibility. And it's not necessarily, a lot of times people think you have to have this big income to be able to enjoy life. But that freedom, I feel like, gives you that ability to really be able to enjoy life, because when you go do something, when you do take that vacation, you come back and you're like, okay, that was
and so
I can come back and I'm,
right.
What are, if you had to say, man, this is my number one takeaway from actually doing this, what have you experienced? What's been like a positive experience for you?
Oh my God. You mean for paying my mortgage off?
Yes. What has been the, I know. What do you say?
No, I'm thinking. So honestly, you said something earlier, and I'm gonna answer your question after I say this, because I want to make mention. You are absolutely right, Crystal. You do not have to have a lot of money. When I started the debt-free journey, I was only making $30,000. That is it. Plus all of the bills that I had. So you can definitely start small. But one of the things that really has me on a high right now of paying my debt is my next financial goal. That is what's in the forefront of my life right now, is that next financial goal, and not being able to have to pay a mortgage. Sometimes I say, oh my goodness, I don't have to pay a mortgage this month. I can do what I want to do. I can spend $200 if I want to spend $200 on some clothes. I don't have a mortgage. And it's absolutely the freedom. The freedom. If I were to lose my job today, I don't have to worry about a mortgage payment. It is that freedom that literally liberates me. I have no anxiety or stress over the thought process of saying, oh my God, I got to do this hustle for the rest of my life to pay a mortgage. Like that's everything for me. I hope that answered it.
That was, girl, I'm telling you. No, I know we kind of drive the same car, right? Yep. At one point we had the exact same car, I think.
Exactly. And so I still got my 1999 Camry. It's got a check engine light on. It don't have any. I can't roll the windows down, but I'm gonna drive that baby till it won't break no more.
I cannot get it together, but I am. How many years did you shave off from doing that?
I shaved 17 years off of my mortgage.
Wow.
Now, granted, I did in fact buy my home at a younger age, but I got an extended mortgage. And so that meant that I had more years on my mortgage. So my mortgage really wasn't technically due to be paid off until 2038.
Wow.
Yes.
So you bought back 17 years of your life.
I did. And I was so surprised of it myself because again, once I decided to do it, that was all I was focusing on last year. That was it. I mean, I didn't care what had to happen. I'm like, my deadline is to pay this mortgage off. I'm not doing anything. And people who really know me, they know once I'm committed, I'm committed. I will wear black pants to work every day if this is going to get me closer to my goals. So yes, I'm super excited about that.
That's so good. How much? What's the numbers? Give me the numbers. So how much do you think you saved financially?
So I saved around, and I'm just going to give you an estimate. I saved around $15,000 to $17,000 of interest, of interest.
Yeah.
And so I didn't do it the traditional way. Most people say, you pay extra payments a month. You pay extra mortgage payments and it'll reduce your interest. I didn't do it that way. And here's the reason why I didn't do it that way. It was a season where, so I'm a saver. And so there were some times where I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to deplete my savings, right? And just, do it this way or pay extra. I want to be able to see myself save so that I can build momentum and write them a check at one time. And that is exactly what I did.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
Yes, I saved it. I saved it in my account and I literally wrote them a check at a one-time check. So that was exciting for me.
Why did we not throw a party? We should have had a party.
We should have, but you know. Look,
I remember when you wrote the check, you was like, but it hadn't cleared yet. And I was trying to celebrate. You was like, it has not cleared yet. We cannot. I just mailed it off or whatever you did. You was like, it has not cleared yet, so we cannot celebrate. So
yes.
Realizing I thought you were telling me that you was just making your last payment, a regular payment. I didn't realize you wrote them like a clean sweep, just one check.
I sure did.
That's so cool. Where is your next? Okay, so what's next, right? And so you said, okay, well, people say you can get bored because you don't feel like, because I am that way, right? I always talk about how I struggle with savings because I like to, I can pay debts off. I love to knock those debts down, and it's like a rush to like get rid of something, right? And so,
check mark, check, completed, task completed. Yes, it is.
So I'm starting to treat savings and investing that way. Like, man, I want to build. I want to, Derek and I talked last week about just building our legacy and building our financial legacy. Like, that's the season that we're in. We have been focused on family, focused on being debt free. Now it's like, okay, we're ready to build, right? And so what? Yeah. And so once you get your house paid off, then what?
Okay.
What's next?
So that's a very interesting question. It's interesting, and I'm pausing because I'm trying not to get emotional about what I'm about to say, but it is very emotional for me because I know the journey that I had to, what it took for me to get here. I know what it took. So I know you've heard our seniors or our mature people say, do what you have to do now so you can live the way you want to live later, right?
Right.
Or I'm paraphrasing.
Right.
So it has come back full circle for me. I am doing what I want to do now because of everything that I did in my past. So what's next for me, Crystal, is early retirement. So I'm not talking about, and it's nothing wrong with people who want to retire at 65, at 70, at 55. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But for me, I'm looking to retire before I reach my 50s. And I'm in my mid-40s.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that is what's next for me. And so I have been meeting with some financial gurus that can help me get there financially, and what investments that I should be taking, what risk I should be taking, necessary steps that I should be taking so that I'm able to retire within the next couple of years. That is my end goal.
I
And
love
then,
it.
then we can party. We can't party yet. Because a party costs. You can't party yet.
You can't afford a party right now.
I can't afford a party. But when I retire, that's my income.
I love it. I love it. So I'm trying to see, make sure I asked you all the questions. And so one of my questions was, do you make $1 million? But we already talked about that. It's not about income, it's about management. It's about how you manage what you have and make the most, setting those goals and then putting a plan in place to reach those goals.
And so, I know this sounds, I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I know this sounds cliche. I know it does, but I have got to say that this works. Crystal, there were not a lot of people that I can talk to that have already paid their mortgage off. Mm-hmm. And I am one of those individuals that I am, you know how when your siblings are getting a whooping, you gonna do everything you can not to do that so you don't get a whooping. I've been that person to always try to figure out what works, what are some best practices, what work for other people so that I can follow that same path. Mm-hmm. But I didn't have anybody in my circle, right, that said, this is how you pay your house off. This is what you're supposed to do. So this is what I did. And this is so key to individuals that are looking to do this or anything else that they're looking to aspire to do, is that you have got to feed yourself that information every day, all day. Yeah. It has to be so in your membrane to the point where even if you think you're about to get negative, you're able to channel that energy to someone else that has done it. So what I had to do was I looked at YouTube videos, even if it were the same video every single day, about people who said, I pay my mortgage off. This is how you pay your mortgage off. This is what you should be doing to pay your mortgage off. Because I needed that motivation to stay on track and say, hey, if they can do it, I can do it. But the key point for me was making sure that I didn't fall into those same financial pitfalls, right? Mm-hmm. I got extra money. I got a raise on my job. I'm going to take that raise and spend it, or I'm going to take that raise and buy a new car. No, I channel that to say, how do I take my extra money and turn it into financial freedom? And I think it works for me.
Right. That's so awesome. I tell my children this about what you listen to. What you're listening to, eventually it goes from your head to your heart, and then from your heart to your behavior. So basically you become what you listen to. You do. And so that's so powerful, because when I go back and think about when we initially became debt free, I was listening to it every day. And that's one of the reasons why we even do this. This is free information. And so we're providing people with information. You can go back, this is on YouTube, this is on Facebook. You can come back and listen to this as many times. And I want to put as many people in front of the Budget Me Black community as possible that looks like us, that's saying, hey, I'm doing this. I have good credit. I can pay my house off. I can build I have built a business. I have, Monroe was on here showing us how he did his commercial properties and how he bought land. And so just being able to see us make moves financially, where in a lot of ways we've been told there's certain things that we can't do, or I'm sure it's people, if you had told the wrong person you was paying your house off, they probably been, the wrong person would have been like, why would you want to do that? Or you can't do that, Absolutely. So you have to listen to the right voices. And so that's what we're here for. That's the whole point, is to be able to plant the seed and give the education so that you can know you can do it and you can start building. So thank you so much, Angela.
Welcome.
Oh my goodness. And so I really appreciate you for jumping on tonight and for sharing your wisdom. And for anyone that's out there that you see the Angela store and you say, you know what, I need to get it together, right? I need to take what I have, set me a plan in place. That's what we're for. Budget Me Black. I love doing one-on-one coaching. Derek has been working with people on their credit. We've been working with married couples. So we are here for you. And we're here to help you set that plan in motion and get it.
And they're the best. They are the best. Crystal has listened to me a million a day. They are the best in what they do.
So thank you so much, and y'all have a good night. Thank you again, Angela.
No problem at all. It's my pleasure.